welcome. You are watching, listening, and enjoying Where My Pro's At Movie Edition here on Versus the World Video YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi guys, welcome to our channel. Welcome back if this is, well, not your first time. Welcome if it is.
That's what that means.
My name is Lexi and this is my wonderful, handsome, amazing husband, Ken. And today we are talking about the movie The Bad Seed. Now this is based on the novel that we have just read. So like I said, if you've been a long-time listener of our show, you'll know that we've already covered the novel by William March, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. Now we're covering the movie.
If you've not seen already, please do go watch the book review first, because it is insightful into what the film and how it paints our perspectives. And
as always, we don't always say it, but we do have spoilers. This is not a spoiler-free episode. So if you haven't seen the film yet, or if you haven't read the book yet, anytime you watch one of our videos, go watch the book version, or go read the book and watch the film and come back to us. But anyway, we love having you here.
Or listen via audiobook on Audible. We have our own special link that gives us a little bit of kickback whenever you do a purchase or whatever. And you also get your first free audiobook on us. So go check out that link. I'm probably going to put it up here.
So fancy.
Go check that out.
Very fancy.
So, The Bad Seed. We just watched this very recently. And it was, so first of all, we enjoyed the book, right?
We had mixed feelings about the book. Yeah, it was fine. It was an interesting story. I think for the time it was very scandalous. I think it's kind of a cliche now, homicidal children, but this is one of the reasons why it is a cliche, because this book is one of the first ones to ever do it. Now, this is a movie that's based on the play, that's based on the book. Actually, a couple of our listeners, our longtime listeners, Beck and John, hello, they were actually in the play in high school, I believe. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. So first impressions. Did you enjoy the film? Did you not enjoy the film?
Well, the first thing I started thinking about when I was watching the film is the era. It's always the thing that strikes you, because often when you read books you don't apply an era because it's not always obvious. Maybe you do, but like I don't know if I necessarily make it a point to work out the era when I read it. I basically think about, is there tech or not? If there's tech, then it's kind of modern era, depending on the level of tech. If there's no tech, I just assume it's before tech, and I don't think much further than that, right? So I don't think like, oh, it's Regency era or anything like that. I'm just like, do they have mobile phones? Yes or no? Do they have internet? Yes or no? That's all that really matters.
Such a computer scientist.
To me, that's all that matters. So, so I was a little shocked when I saw the era of when this was, because it's probably earlier than I originally assumed from reading the book. Which it makes sense from the sort of societal differences that we saw throughout the movie as well. People barging in without knocking and such.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
That is hell on earth, man.
People just walking into your house, just like, oh, hello. Oh.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No,
I remember that from the 90s. I remember that being the norm, though. I remember having like aunties, and even my friends from school would just come over and just walk in.
I grew up in the country. Our nearest neighbor was like 12 miles away, so I think that's a lie. One time I did walk in, there was a goat on the dining room table, so I guess technically a neighbor walked in without knocking, but that wasn't really a norm for me. But I think that was a bit different from everyone else's experience in the 90s.
Very true. Yeah. To answer your question, I would say that my initial thoughts of the film were mostly on the era, but my initial review, as a brief overview, was mostly good. I would say I overall enjoyed the film. It did feel a bit long, and I feel like, again, that the whole story could probably have been done in a episode of something or other instead, 30 minutes. I don't feel like it needed all of that, but at the same time, it did a good job with what they had.
I disagree. I think it was the proper length for the story. For me, I think I enjoyed the film more than the book. The film cut out a lot of Mrs. Breedlove's warbling and pontificating on Freud and psychoanalysis. There's a little bit of that, but she was a lot more like she was a lot more enjoyable in the film. Like I was a lot. Her character was more. What's the word I'm looking for?
She was comedically self-aware.
Yes. But the character is more acceptable. The character is more. I enjoyed watching the character more than I enjoyed reading the character. I skipped through a lot of Mrs. Breedlove's warbling.
Yeah, because in the book she's like, she thinks that she is effectively a therapist. She thinks that she's now a qualified psychologist because she's been getting therapy, and that's a thing that happens in real life, right? People do that. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
But it was tedious to read, and I'm glad they kept it in the film. But I admit, it instantly made me roll my eyes, like, oh, not again, not again.
No, but I think they kept it to a manageable level. I
agree.
It was a lot quicker. It was a lot more succinct. I think they trimmed a lot of the extraneous kind of scenes and the kind of extra, like you were saying, like you feel like the story could have been done in a short story or an episode. I feel like they did their best to maintain the integrity of the story, but they cut off they trimmed the fat, in my opinion.
I agree.
So I really enjoyed the movie more than I enjoyed the book. And did you know that the little girl, who is excellent, by the way, children actors, I'm always impressed. Like we were just talking about True Grit. The actress who played Maddie in True Grit, and not in the John Wayne version, but the Jeff Bridges version, I think was excellent. When you do find a good child actor, they're really good. But the girl who played Rhoda was nominated for an Oscar for her for the role.
She was excellent, though. One of the things that I repeatedly noticed through the film that I thought was a really good view into the psyche of somebody who is psychotic was she was always very happy and smiley when somebody could see her, and as soon as she went for a hug, it just...
You noticed that too. Yeah. It was little subtle things that she was able to impart. I think she did. She was able to have that childish innocence. You know, one minute she's having her tea party, next minute she's locking the maintenance guy in the cellar and setting it on fire. And she pulled off the character very well. I like the mother as well. I think the mother...
She was very good.
Yeah, was well done. The only problem I have with the film, and you know I'm going to say it, is the ending. It's the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I actually watched a really interesting video on the ending of this film and why they made it the way that they did. Like with the John Wayne film, a lot of, in the 1950s, a lot of family first people, which is fair enough. It's a very scandalous subject. People were walking out of the theater. There was boycotts, even in this version that it is now. But I kind of also hate. I did not like the ending where she got hit by lightning. I did like how they kind of broke the immersion and had people come onto set, the actors, who was like, this is the character. And then it ended with Rhoda's mom, the woman playing Rhoda's mom, and the little girl playing Rhoda, her spanking her in a funny way. And it was kind of cute, and I got why they did it, and then a little trigger warning thing at the end.
I don't mind that. That felt more like a play in that sense, which was nice because that's
from the play.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine they took that directly from the play, and I kind of like that because it's nice to see the actors. It's the same reason why I think we enjoy watching behind the scenes, or some people really enjoy watching behind the scenes on DVDs and on YouTube. That there's the one thing I really enjoy with Lord of the Rings, for example, is there's this one clip that's Legolas singing the fan song that they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Right? And he's singing it on set with the next film, and I thought that was great. That was really, really funny, Yeah. And little things like that. So it adds a level of breaking the fourth wall, sure, but it also makes you realize these are actors who are doing a job, and it makes you fully appreciate that perspective. It's not real.
Kind of reminds me, I have three little sisters, and I learned my lesson with the youngest sister, who I let watch Coraline when she was too young. And
for you, our little doll. Black is traditional. But if you'd prefer pink, or vermilion, or chartreuse. Though you might make me jealous.
No way! You're not sewing buttons in my eyes!
Oh, but we need a yes if you want to stay here.
So sharp you won't feel a thing. Ow!
To this day, we actually recently, she's going to get so mad at me if she ever sees this because she does not want me to tell this story. To this day, whenever we talk about the movie Coraline, she bursts into tears and she's like 19, she's like 18, she's going to be 18, 17, 18, and she's still to this day is deeply scarred. So I made sure never to do that again. And
it's a scary film, that.
It's a scary film.
As an adult, that's probably that probably struck me more than most horror films.
And I don't think I quite understood why it would terrify a 7-year-old. And
Buttons for eyes.
This is why I will have dogs instead of children. But with my other little sister Ailey, she really wanted to watch Johnny Depp's Sleepy Hollow. So what I did is I made her watch the deleted scenes first, where they were playing around on set, and that helped her, and she was able to watch the movie and not be terrified.
That helps.
And it helps. So that's what that ending reminded me of, and I think that it was important for the time period, or they wouldn't have been able to tell that story if they didn't have that.
I also dislike the Deus Ex Machina ending of she was struck by lightning, because in the book what happens, of course, is her mother tries to kill her with pills. Mother then tries to kill herself. The mother does kill herself.
She bungled that so badly.
But she bumbled the killing of her child, and so the kid just wakes up the next morning.
Murder suicide.
Yeah. So and then the implication is there's now a psychopath on the loose, effectively. And I thought that was a great ending.
Because then you're left imagining, how's the father going to find out?
If ever.
What's going to happen? Just who's next? And I like that ending. I think that was more appropriate for the tone of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they changed it, because you couldn't have this loose ending, or people were going to get too upset.
I understand it. I just didn't particularly enjoy it, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it either.
The acting in general was good by all of the actors. Well, sorry, that's not true. All of the main actors. The kid did fantastic. The mother did fantastic. The granddad did pretty good. Everybody else I felt was a little off. I didn't quite there was a couple times where they actually tripped over each other's lines. So in response to the other person, so say you're in the middle of your line, you're in the last 3 words, then I started speaking in response to what you're saying, as if I knew what the last 3 words were before you said them. And that was poor. That was really bad acting.
There were some sound issues as well. I mean, it's an old film, and you could tell that I don't think they were expecting it to be that big of a success.
Yeah, I guess not. They also had some issues with the actual tape. There was burn marks and such throughout, which was we didn't see in other films of that from that year, though.
Yeah, we did. There's tons that have that cigarette burn, and then
sure, I know it's like a known thing, but it was particularly bad.
We've all seen Fight Club. We know why. Is it Fight Club? Yeah,
sure.
Like the counts. That's how you turn it over.
Sure, I understand.
You can splice big penises in the children's films, and no.
Sure, we all understand, but this is just it was particularly noticeably bad.
It was noticeably bad. Yeah, it was noticeable.
I understand that's something that happens in the era and the technology that was available.
Can't really help
it. But the point is that it was still worse than others of that era. So it's still worse.
Yeah, I think this was the 1950s version of a sleepy indie hit. From an art house.
Yeah.
You weren't expecting that.
I suppose
It Follows. Or something like that.
So it was fine to watch. The acting was mostly good, like I said, apart from some issues. The audio, the music, I didn't even notice any music or anything really.
It was fine. It was fine. I don't really remember much.
I don't
of
remember
it,
the soundtrack if there was one.
A good thing and also a bad thing, so it was fine.
And as for being true to the book, it was overall mostly fine. I think they kept most of the details the same.
They improved the book, I think.
I would say they filled in a lot more with a lot more interest, because it was just too long, the book as well. Again, I said the same thing when we read the book. It could have been a shorter story than it was.
My recommendation, if you're interested in the story, it would be actually to watch the movie. And if you're really hot on it, then read the book. But I would watch the movie rather than read the book if you had to choose.
So what are your ratings for this?
So I would give it a 3. I enjoyed it. I think it improved on the book. I think the characters were well done. The only thing that keeps it from being a 4 is the saccharine, I think I'm overusing this word, saccharine ending, where it was, and I understand why. I get it. They had to do it because it was already such a little blonde white girl in the 1950s who's murdering people, who's capable of being evil. No way.
But she's a good American girl.
Crazy American. I get it, but it still detracted from my enjoyment.
Yeah, I mostly enjoyed it. I mean, there was a couple of weird scenes with the grandfather and the kid that was a little odd in the film.
It wasn't the grandfather, it was the bachelor.
Oh, sorry, the bachelor.
True crime guy. Yeah, but that's just how old men used to talk to girls. Like,
it was creepy.
Give me a kiss and
she's gonna be like a guy's gonna be after her when she's older. Like what?
She's 8.
I know.
Not talk
Yeah,
about
guys are gonna be after.
Availability.
Yeah, guys will be after that smile. Like, does that mean that you just enjoyed a sexual experience by looking at an 8-year-old?
Like licking it. It was like he was looking at a plate of ribs. It was gross. It was uncomfortable. If you guys watch the film, you'll know what we're talking about.
It was not in the book whatsoever. At least I didn't pick up on that in the book anyway.
I didn't either. So I don't know.
It didn't add anything to the story. So that was a bit weird. I didn't really appreciate that. Yeah, overall, I guess I'd probably give it 2 stars, leaning towards 3. It was fine. It was probably still better than the book. I just didn't particularly enjoy it, and I felt like it was too long. And I feel like if it was in a half-hour format, 40-minute format instead, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. A concise, clear, linear story that didn't have all those unnecessary delineations towards piano and the mother's relationship with the teacher, the school, the head of the school, and with the landlady upstairs, who for some reason lived in their apartment almost. Right, she was just always there.
Yeah, I mean, we do say, we don't just walk into. My best friend, I used to just like walk into her house like all the time.
She's the landlady.
Yeah, but like they were really good friends. They were obviously close friends. Like
Still
I
weird.
just walk into my best friend's house, and be like, I'm here, and put on pants, like you know. So
it was weird.
I think it depends on the relationship, absolutely. But
so 2 star, leaning towards 3 for me. So 2 star. Okay. You have been watching, listening, and enjoying Where My Pro's At here on the Versus the World Video YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check us out all over the interwebs via
linktr.ee/where my pro's at.
Hey, that's the first time she's got it fully right on the first attempt.
On the first attempt?
Yeah. We will be back soon with more content for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Bye guys. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye.